Warning! The following books are incredibly dark and spicy. I am not responsible for whatever may happen if you choose to read any of them. The first book that I bought was Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I have heard that this is the epitome of dark and spicy books, and I saw it everywhere on booktube, booktok, Goodreads, and curiosity got the better of me, so I decided to pick up a copy. I'm already about a quarter of the way through this book, and I'm not sure what to make of it quite yet. This book follows our main character, Adeline, who recently inherited a rundown mansion from her grandmother. And soon after she moves in, some spooky things start to happen. Adeline realizes that she may have a secret admirer. That's the understatement of the century chain. He's literally a stalker. I'm already about a quarter of the way through this book, and I will say that the main character is not my favorite, but I really am enjoying the atmosphere and setup of the whole story. So I'm glad that I bought Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. And in true booktuber fashion, I also bought the sequel, Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. Yes, I bought both books while I was at the store without reading anything about it, but that's really standard on booktube. The next dark and spicy book I bought is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is a dark and spicy Peter Pan retelling. I actually read a series very similar to this called the Never King series, and that one was just okay. So when I saw that there was another retelling about Peter Pan on the market, I decided to pick this one up. I'm interested to see how the author interprets the story, and when I looked on Goodreads, people either seem to love it or really hate it. So I'm interested to see what I will think of Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I am so excited that I managed to find this next book called Hysteria by Michaela Wright. Now, this is a pretty unique book. It is a dark and spicy historic story that's also a little bit gothic. It's set in Edinburgh in 1828, so it has this kind of Victorian feeling to it. And I'm really excited to see where this story goes because that is in the time of Burke and Hare, and it's in the setting of Burke and Hare, so I think this book is gonna get very, very dark. I believe the premise of the story is about a young woman who's going to a doctor, and the doctor's treating her, and she's noticing that a lot of his female patients are missing, and there's something really sinister going on in the underbelly of the society that they're living in. I am absolutely intrigued by how this book is going to turn out because I love this idea of a dark and spicy historical fiction that's also like a gothic murder mystery, and I'm kind of getting a feeling of The Alienist and like Vienna Blood and Burke and Hare type of vibes in this very, very historical setting, and I think this is just going to be so interesting. So I'm happy that I was able to get Hysteria by Michaela Wright. This next book is a little bit of a different pick for me, and it is Rhapsodic by Laura Thalissa. I actually was recommended this book years ago when I first started BookTube, and it's been at the back of my mind ever since I heard about it. This is a dark romance fantasy book, which is another really kind of interesting genre that I don't see a lot on the market. And this follows a siren who she's wearing a lot of bracelets because she owes a lot of debt. And in order to erase the debt, she has to go to a special entity called the Bargainer. And the Bargainer will free her of their debt, but for a very high price. I just think this is going to be so interesting. I don't read a lot of fantasy, but I've heard that people really like this book if they liked A Court of Thorns and Roses. And that's one of my favorite fantasy series. So I'm super excited to read Rhapsodic by Laura Thalissa. Promise you won't judge me for this next pick, but it is Priest by Sarah Simone. Okay, listen. I saw this book everywhere on Instagram and BookTok, and so when I saw it in the store, I thought, what the heck, and I just picked it up. I believe Priest is about a young man with a tragic past who then joins the priesthood. Until one day, when he meets a young woman who arrives for confession that makes him rethink some of his vows. Now, I have heard that this is very spicy, but I'm really intrigued by the concept because I think it explores ideas of faith and human sensuality and kind of the convergence of the two. But also it's just very spicy and I was intrigued, so I picked up Priest by Sarah Simone. And the final book that I purchased recently is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. This was another one that was everywhere on bookstagram and booktube and booktok, and I believe that it's a Greek mythology retelling but done in a mafia style. I'm not really sure, but I just know that people really seem to enjoy this book, and I've heard that it's extremely spicy. So I was intrigued by it. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to get a copy because I already own the audiobook, and so I'm hoping to put this on my TBR for early next year. And that is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I am so happy that I found this next book, and it is... I don't know because I forgot to look at it before I put it up on the screen. And the final book that I purchased recently is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. Yeah, that was right. Now, before I bring out this next book, you need to promise me you're not going to judge me. Don't judge Lady Jane. Lady Jane's a no judgment zone.